The royal family has a long and troubled history. This story is about a new scandal that has shocked many people. The scandal now involves King Charles and Prince Harry. The matter has grown very complicated over many years. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle chose a different life in 2020. They stepped away from their royal duties to find freedom and privacy. They moved to the United States to start a new chapter. They said they wanted to live life on their own terms. They wished to escape the strict traditions that had defined their lives for so long. After their departure, Prince Harry and Meghan began to build a life that was independent and modern. They signed deals with big media companies that paid them large sums of money. They worked on documentaries that told their personal stories. They also published books that shared their views on the royal family. Their actions made headlines and filled newspapers with bold claims and controversies. Now, a shocking new twist has emerged that has stunned many fans of the monarchy. Insiders say that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle recently made a surprising request. They approached King Charles with a demand for a very large financial payout. The amount they asked for was $330 million. This sum is more than $250 million. It is a figure that few people can imagine. The request came with the idea of mending old wounds and reaching reconciliation with the royal family. King Charles has always been a man who values duty and tradition. When he heard the request, he did not hesitate to refuse it. He made his position very clear in simple words. He said that there would be no negotiation on this matter. He told Prince Harry and Meghan that there could be no financial handouts from the royal family. His response was swift and final. He even warned that if the Sussexes continued on this path, their royal titles might be stripped away. His decision has created even more tension within the family. The news of this financial demand has spread far and wide. Many people are shocked by the idea that someone born into royal privilege would ask for such a huge sum. Some people say that Prince Harry and Meghan have every right to seek support. They point out that the couple once enjoyed a life of royal luxury. They say that if reconciliation is to be achieved, then money may be needed to mend broken bonds. Others say that this request is an act of entitlement. They argue that the royal family is not a bank that can lend money for personal gain. They see the demand as an attempt to use royal connections for financial profit. The sum of $330 million is not an ordinary number. This figure is a very large amount that most people will never see in their lifetime. It is a sum that represents a significant part of the wealth managed by the royal family. For many, it is hard to understand how money can become a bargaining chip in family disputes. Yet, in this case, the number is seen as a symbol of the deep divisions that have grown between Prince Harry and his family. The figure shows that the conflict is not only about personal feelings, but also about legacy and power. The royal family has long been seen as a symbol of duty and loyalty. For centuries, its members have followed strict traditions and upheld an unspoken code of honor. The values of discretion and responsibility have guided the family through both triumphs and troubles. When Prince Harry and Meghan decided to leave the royal fold, they promised that they would live independently. They said they would no longer depend on the funds provided by the monarchy. They claimed that they wanted to make their own choices and tell their own stories. Their decision was met with mixed reactions from people both inside and outside the palace. Yet, as time has passed, many have noticed that the Sussexes have not completely turned away from the royal brand. Their public ventures have continued to draw on their royal background. They have signed deals that are worth millions of dollars. Their image as former royals remains a key part of their identity. In asking King Charles for $330 million, some see a sign that they still wish to benefit from their past connections. The request may also be seen as a way to secure their financial future while holding on to a link with the royal heritage. King Charles's reaction to the demand was firm and without compromise. He made it clear that no amount of money could replace the values of loyalty and duty that he cherishes. He stated that reconciliation must come from honest feelings rather than from a financial transaction. His stance was based on the long-held belief that the royal family is not meant to serve personal interests. He warned that any further attempts to use money as a means to mend personal disputes could lead to even harsher consequences. His words echoed the traditions of the monarchy that have been passed down through generations. The idea of negotiating family matters with money is very new for the royal family. In the past, internal conflicts were handled quietly and without public discussion. Private meetings and subtle signals were the tools used to resolve issues. However, in the modern era, even the most private matters become public news. The media now follows every word and every gesture of those who are part of the royal family. This has forced a level of transparency that many traditionalists find difficult to accept. The current situation is a perfect example of how modern media can expose deep-seated family conflicts. The potential loss of royal titles is another consequence that adds gravity to the situation. Royal titles are more than just names. They carry with them centuries of history and prestige. For Prince Harry and Meghan, these titles have been a key part of their public image. The prospect of losing them is a threat to both their legacy and their future financial ventures. Titles can help secure business deals and open doors that would otherwise remain closed. Losing these titles could hurt their brand and diminish the value of their public projects. King Charles made it clear that if they continued to push for money, the conversation might soon turn to the removal of these honours. This conflict has divided public opinion in many ways. There are those who see the Sussexes as victims of an old and rigid system. They believe that the royal family should be flexible enough to support its own members in times of need. They argue that the Sussexes were once embraced by the family and that their contributions should be recognised. On the other side, there are many who see the financial demand as a betrayal of the principles that the royal family is built upon. They view the request as an example of personal ambition that conflicts with the selfless nature of royal duty. This division in public sentiment shows that the matter is not just about money, but also about values and identity. The number 330 million shows how far the situation has escalated. It is a number that is rarely seen in everyday life. For context, many large corporations are valued at amounts in the hundreds of millions of dollars. The request from Prince Harry and Meghan is a significant portion of what is considered a modern fortune. It is a number that forces everyone to question the nature of wealth and the expectations of those who come from privileged backgrounds. In many ways, the figure represents a collision between modern celebrity culture and old royal traditions. In many families, disagreements are solved through conversation and compromise. In the royal family, however, the stakes are much higher. Decisions made at the highest levels can have consequences that last for generations. The current dispute between King Charles and the Sussexes could set a precedent for how future conflicts are handled. It is possible that the royal family will have to rethink its approach to internal disagreements. The tradition of handling matters quietly may have to give way to a new era of transparency and accountability. Such a change could alter the face of the monarchy forever. At the heart of this scandal is a struggle between personal ambition and the weight of history. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle once promised to live independently and break away from the strict rules of the past. Yet the recent events show that the ties of family and tradition are not easily broken. The demand for $330 million suggests that there is still a desire to reclaim some form of the old royal order. It is a sign that even those who claim to reject the past may still find themselves bound by it. This struggle is one that many people can understand, even if it takes place on a grand and public scale. The story of this scandal touches on many deep themes that are relevant to life today. it asks us to consider the value of tradition in a modern world. It challenges us to think about the true meaning of loyalty and duty. It reminds us that even in the pursuit of freedom, one must often confront the weight of history. The royal family has long been a symbol of a bygone era, and yet it still plays an important role in the present. The conflict between King Charles and the Sussexes is not just a personal quarrel, but a reflection of changing times. It shows that even institutions steeped in history can face crises when modern values clash with old customs. The future of the royal family now depends on the decisions made by its leaders and on the willingness of its members to honour their traditions. King Charles has made his position clear, and he has set a firm boundary. The Sussexes now stand at a crossroads, and the path they choose will determine their place in history. Will they continue to press for a financial settlement in order to regain favour, or will they accept the new reality and forge a completely independent future? Now, before you leave, just don't forget to give this video a like, smash that subscribe button, and also ring that notification bell while you're down there.